So let's start with some nice deep breaths. And our focus today is going to be on hips and legs. So as you're taking this next breath, bring your awareness to your back and your hips. Notice how they feel today. Noticing any differences from side to side, from mid to low. And moving through your hips and down through your legs and noticing how your legs feel today. And notice how they are laying on the floor. Does one leg feel slightly more turned out than the other? Do they feel fairly even? Does one feel heavier than the other on the floor? Do they feel the same? Moving through the backs of your legs down to the backs of your knees. And noticing how the back of your knees feel today. And then moving down through your calves. And all the way to your ankles and your feet. And then go ahead and bend your knees, and we'll start with some flattens and tilts. So knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and your arms just laying comfortably beside you. And we'll start with our flattens, so staying relaxed, we'll do an inhale first. And now as you begin to exhale, flatten your back to the floor, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, and squeezing in your tummy muscles gently. And hold for just a moment. And now nice and slow and controlled release. Slowly releasing in your abdominals as you take another inhale. As slow and smooth as you can. And at the very end of that release, going right into tilt, inhaling and rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, gently lifting your low back. Hold for just a moment. And super slowly begin to release as you exhale now. Slow releasing your hips and in your back. And And at the end of that release, going right into flatten again, rolling pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor, tightening your tummy muscles, holding for just a second. And now nice and slow, begin to release in your tummy as you slowly, with control, come back to your neutral position. And once you're in your neutral position, we're going to go right into tilt again, but we're going to add the arms in now as well. So inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, rolling your arms open so your palms are facing up to the ceiling. Hold for just a moment and then exhale as you slowly begin to release in your hips and back. Slowly letting your arms roll back over so that your palms are down. Nice and slow and smooth, keeping these movements fluid. And at the end of that release, going right into flatten, bringing pubic bone ribs towards each other as you flatten your back, and now rolling your arms inwards towards your body, squeezing gently in your chest. Hold for just a second, and then super slowly release. Slowly unrolling your shoulders as you release in the chest, and slowly releasing in your abdominals as your hips and back slowly come back to neutral. And at the end of that release, going right into tilt again. Rolling your hands over, palms facing up, rolling tailbone down to the floor, gently arching your back, and your shoulder blades are just pressing gently into the floor. Exhale now as you slowly begin to release. Slowly releasing in the back and the hips, and slowly letting your arms roll back over to palms down. Nice and slow and smooth. And going right into flatten again, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other as you roll your arms inwards towards your body, gently squeezing in your belly and in your chest, holding for just a moment, and super slowly releasing. Nice and slow and smooth, releasing with control. And at the end of that release, you're going to rest. So next we're going to move into our hips and legs. So go ahead and lay your legs long now, please. And once your legs are long, take just a moment to just quickly do another self-sense of how you're feeling. You may already notice that your low back is feeling a little more relaxed. And we're going to go into the clam. So what you're going to be doing is bringing the soles of your feet together. Your knees will open to the side, and then you're going to draw your feet up towards your butt. So bottom of your feet come together. They stay on the floor, and then drawing your feet up towards your butt, knees are open. Going only as far as you can comfortably, and then super slow and smooth, you're going to push those feet back down along the floor, really keeping that movement fluid. And when your legs are straight, take a moment to rest. And then we're going to repeat that one again, turning the soles of your feet inwards towards each other, and then drawing your feet upwards towards your butt, drawing them along the floor, knees are open, staying in your comfort zone, and then slow and smooth, pushing those feet back along the floor, nice and slow and controlled, taking them back to legs long. And then take a moment to rest. And now we're going to switch to our knock-kneed position. So this time your knees will be coming together as your feet move outwards, and they're going to start to slide up towards your armpits. So your knees will be up in the air a little bit as you slide your feet upwards along the floor towards your armpits. Remember to only go as far as you can comfortably. And then nice and slow and smooth, sliding those feet back down along the floor until your legs are long and relaxed again. And make sure to take a moment to rest. And we'll repeat that one again. Knees come together as your feet slide outwards and up towards your armpits, sliding along the floor. And pausing for a moment And then nice and slow and smooth, begin to straighten your legs again, as slow and smooth as you can. Once your legs are long, take a moment to rest. And now we're going to move between these two. So we're going to go back to clam. So bottom of feet turn inwards towards each other, knees open gently, sliding the feet upwards towards your butt. And now as you slowly begin to straighten them, you're going to move right from straight legs into the knock knee position. So slowly straightening your legs from clam. Nice and slow and smooth. And when your legs are long, going right into the knock knee position next. Bringing knees together and sliding your feet along the floor upwards towards your armpits. Pausing for a moment and then taking them back to straight, nice and slow and smooth. And at the end of this one, when the legs are long and straight, you're going to go right back into clam again. Turning the bottom of the feet inwards towards each other and sliding the feet upwards towards your butt. And then nice and slow and smooth, straightening the legs again. And then one more time, when your legs are long and straight, going into your knock knee position again. Turning the soles of the feet outwards as your knees come together and sliding your feet upwards towards your armpits. And nice and slow, taking them back to straight. And when your legs are straight and in their neutral position, take a moment to rest. And now we're going to do invert and lift. So with the right leg, you're going to think of turning the sole of your foot inwards towards the left, and then doing just a small gentle scoop as you lift your foot and ankle up. You can either lift it in the air slightly, or you can rest it on your opposite leg and bring it upwards towards your knee. And then nice and slow and smooth, you're going to take it back down. So you're either going to be sliding it along the floor or along your other leg. As you slide it back down to its long rested position. And rest for a moment. And we're going to do one more on that side. So turning your right foot inwards, turning the sole of the foot in towards your other leg, letting your knee open to the side, and then drawing your foot upwards towards your butt, either along the floor or along the top of your other leg. And then nice and slow, sliding it back down again. Nice and slow and smooth. And when your leg is long, take a moment to rest. We're going to do two of those on the other foot now. So now taking your right leg, turning your right foot inwards towards the left leg, the sole of the foot in, and your right knee will be out to the side. Lifting, scooping just slightly with that foot as it comes upwards towards your butt. And then nice and slow and smooth. It will slide either along the floor or along your other leg, as it slowly and smoothly goes back down to its long lengthened position. And take a moment to rest. And we'll repeat that one again. Turning the sole of the right foot inwards towards your left leg. Drawing it up towards your butt. Only going as far as you can comfortably, and then nice and slow and smooth, taking it back down, drawing it either along the floor or along your other leg. And when your leg is long, take a moment to rest. It's a little easier to concentrate now that Squirt is resting. Hey, Court. Now we're going to do evert and lift. So starting with the right foot, You're going to turn your foot outwards now. The sole of the foot will turn outwards, and you'll do just again a small little scooping up and now drawing your foot upwards towards your armpit. So this is exactly almost the same as doing your knock-kneed and your clam, just with one leg. So it's the same motion. And remember, as you're releasing it and bringing it back down, that you're taking it slow and smooth. And we're just going to rest for a moment at the end of that. We'll repeat one more time with that right foot. So turning the sole of the right foot outwards now, knee coming inwards, drawing the foot upwards towards your armpit. And then nice and slow and smooth, begin to straighten your leg. As slow and smooth as you can. And then rest. And same thing with the left foot. So turning the sole of the left foot outwards, letting your knee come inwards, drawing the foot upwards towards your armpit. And then nice and slow and smooth. Taking that foot back down. And make sure to rest at the end. And we'll repeat one more time on that side. Turning the sole of the left foot outwards as your knee gently comes inwards and drawing that foot along the floor upwards towards your armpit. And then nice and slow and smooth with as much control as you can, sliding that foot back down to legs long. When you finish that one, taking a moment to rest. Now we're going to do a little bit of hip hiking. So keeping both legs long, what you're going to do now is think of pointing your right foot down to the floor, which will help you to think of lengthening the right leg. And at the same time now, start to bring your left toes towards your face. So you're flexing your foot. As you begin to flex that left foot, think of lifting your left hip upwards towards your armpit. It stays on the floor, but it's just hiking gently upwards towards the left armpit. And hold that position for a minute. Well, not a minute, for a second. And now super slowly begin to release. So you're slowly going to begin to lower your left hip as you slowly begin to point the left toe. Your right toe is going to slowly now begin to come to a flexed position. And your right hip will now just gently and small coming up towards the right armpit. Hold for just a second and then slowly begin to switch again. So slowly releasing in the right hip now. Slowly begin to point the right toe down as the left toe now begins to come to a flexed position and the left hip begins to gently come upwards towards the armpit. And hold for just a second. And switch again. And now at your own pace, I'd like you to switch that movement a couple of times to each side. Really focusing on keeping it nice and smooth and slow. Really paying attention within yourself if you find any spots where you're feeling any bumpy, glitchy movements happening. Really trying to smooth those out. And when you've finished a couple of those to each side, just take a moment to rest. The next exercise we're going to do is called skiing, and I think you've both done this one before. You're going to begin to bring both of your feet and think of sliding them upwards towards your right armpit as your knees will be drifting to the left. So you're sliding your feet upwards towards your right armpit. Knees are going out to the left. And then nice and slow, you're going to straighten your legs and switch sides. So super slowly now pushing the feet along the floor, back to legs long. And when the legs are long, switching sides and then drawing your feet upwards towards your left armpit as your knees tilt to the right. Remember to only go as far as you can comfortably, and then nice and slow and smooth, straightening the legs, drawing them back down along the floor, hips slowly and smoothly coming back down, and then switching to the other side again. And now I'd like you to do 2 more to each side without a pause in between, moving gently between each side. Really working to smooth out the movement, paying attention to any spots where you feel like you don't have control or you're unable to do the movement slow and smooth. And after you finish doing a couple of those to each side, take a moment to rest. And then bringing your knees up to a bent position again, feet flat on the floor. And let's take our arms out to our sides. We're going to do a couple of wash rags. So arms will be straight out from your shoulders on the floor. And we're going to start by rolling the right palm upwards and drifting the knees to the left. So nice and slow, drifting your knees down to the left as you roll your right palm upward towards the ceiling. You're going to begin to look to your right palm. Your left arm will stay down. When you've gone as far as you can comfortably, then nice and slow, begin to switch this movement. So slowly bringing your knees up, slowly rolling the right palm down as you slowly roll the left palm upwards, and your head slowly begins to turn to the left. Knees are drifting to the right, head drifting to the left, looking towards your left palm, which is up towards the ceiling. And then nice and slow, switching again. Slowly now, rolling the left palm down, slowly bringing the knees up, slowly turning your head, turning your right palm upwards now, only going as far as you can comfortably, pausing, and then switching again. Nice and slow and smooth, rotating the palms again, right palm turning down, left palm turning up, knees drifting to the right, and slowly looking to the left. And now at your own pace, go ahead and do 2 more of these to each side. And this time, don't pause in between. Just move nice and fluidly, unless you feel like you need to. If you feel like you need to have a rest and a pause, then definitely do that. Staying in your own comfort within your own soma is always what's most important in somatics. As you're doing this wash rag and you're doing this gentle twisting, Really bring your awareness to the lengthening that's happening in your back as you slowly and smoothly twist from side to side. And when you finish doing a couple of those to each side, pausing in center, taking a moment to rest. We're going to finish today with some arch and curls. So bringing your hands up either behind your head or fingertips behind your ears. And if that's hurting your shoulders today, you can just leave your legs long beside you. Or I mean your arms, sorry. Now let's start with our inhale. So inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down, pressing your shoulder blades, drawing them towards your tailbone, and tilting your head back. Hold for just a moment, and now super slowly begin to exhale, slowly releasing in your shoulders, your hips, your back, and your neck. And at the very end of that release, you'll go right into flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back. Bring your elbows together and gently lift your head and chest into a curled position and hold for just a second. And now nice and slow, begin to lower your head as slow and smooth as you can. Really focusing on the release in your abdominals as you're lowering your head. And once your head is resting on the floor, then slow and smooth, begin to open your elbows. Paying attention to the release that's happening in your chest now as you're lowering those elbows. Once your elbows are on the ground, take a moment to rest. And we'll repeat again. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor. Press your shoulder blades, draw them towards your tailbone, and tilt your head back. Hold for a moment, and exhale now super slowly. Challenge yourself to go even slower this time than you did on the last one. As slow and smooth as you can. And at the very end of that release, going right into flatten, bring your pubic bone ribs towards each other, flattening your back, bring your elbows together, lifting your head and chest, and this time bring your elbows towards your right knee. Hold there for just a second, and now super slowly begin to lower your head. Slowly lowering your chest and your shoulders back to the floor, releasing in your tummy as slow and smooth as you can. Once your head is back to the mat, slowly opening your elbows. Taking a moment to rest. We'll repeat that one again. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor. Pressing your shoulder blades, drawing them towards your tailbone and tilting your head back. Hold for just a moment, and now exhale. Slow and smooth, releasing in your hips, in your back, in your shoulders and your neck. Slow and smooth as you can. And at the end of that release, going right into flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor, bringing elbows together, and this time take them towards your left knee. Hold for just a moment, and then nice and slow, lowering your head again, really focusing on that slow, controlled release in your tummy. Once your head is resting on the floor, then focusing on your chest as you slowly begin to release your elbows back down to the floor. Make sure you take a moment to rest when you finish that one. And we're going to do another one. This time you'll be coming straight up. So inhale again, inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, pressing your shoulder blades, drawing them towards your tailbone, tilting your head back. Exhale now as you super, super slowly begin to release in your hips and your back and your shoulders and your neck. And at the end of that release, going right into flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, bringing elbows together and gently lifting your head and chest into your curled position. Hold for just a moment, And now nice and slow, lowering your head as slow and smooth as you can. When your head is resting on the floor, slowly opening your elbows, being aware of the release that's happening in your chest now. And make sure to rest. And now you can do one more of those at your own pace. Starting again with your inhale and arch. Really bringing your awareness to all of the places where you're doing your release from and really smoothing them out. Moving as slowly and smoothly as you can. And when you finish that one, take a moment to rest. And then laying our legs long, we're going to go back to our self-scan position. Just start with a couple of nice deep breaths. And as you're taking these nice deep breaths, bring your awareness to your back. Notice how your back feels now compared to when we started. Moving through your low back and into your hips. And noticing any differences or similarities from side to side and from when we started to now. Noticing how your legs feel, comparing how they feel now to how they felt when we started. And moving down through the backs of your legs, to the backs of your knees, down through your calves, and all the way to your ankles and your feet. And take just another moment here to just take a couple of breaths and really think about how relaxed and energized you feel. Then when you're ready, without rushing, you're going to roll to your side and come up to sitting. And we have a few minutes left for questions, feedback, or gossip, whatever we decide.